When I started in this industry and I was observing calls and I was like shadowing agents, 75% of the conversations they were having had nothing to do with deals. Nothing to do with deals. So I feel like maybe that's how I built my whole model. Maybe 75% of the content that we put out should have nothing to do with deals. Maybe. I don't know. It's working so far.
This week on Commercial Real Estate Secrets, we have Fly Jamerson. Fly, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Fly and I met because she cold called me out of the blue to ask my advice about commercial real estate. And at the time, I was about to go into labor and I was just walking, trying to induce labor. And I was having contractions and having a hard time answering the questions. But we still had a great conversation. And it's just a funny way to connect. So, Fly, thank you for being on the show today.
Well, and let's just acknowledge how much of a goat move that was, that you picked up the phone and then that was the advice that you gave me. The question that I ask in those videos that I make, what's the best advice that you got when you were just starting out? And you were down to clown and you were like, pick up the phone and stay in touch with people. And so in hindsight, looking back to that conversation and actually what that conversation did for me, I started cold calling agents to ask them questions to make videos and put on the internet. So we're big fans and we have learned so much, as everyone has learned so much from Bob Knakkel. And so Chase Weatherly, my very dear friend, dared me to start cold calling Bob Knakkel to get a Knakkel nugget, which I eventually got. But the thing is actually the missing part of the story that I want to highlight too is, so I have this thing called the fear list. I keep a list of all of my fears and I force myself every week to face and cross off one of those fears. And talking on the phone and being on camera, which are the two things that now have like made my success so far, I'm just terrified. I'm terrified right now. Really, truly. You can't see, you can't really tell in the video that we did, but like I'm on my phone. I'm like, oh my God, like it feels that way. Like, so I'm sort of wandering around now, but the reason that we're having this conversation is a remarkable sequence of events of me being in the right place at the right time and deciding that I was going to take a really big risk instead of waiting around for things to happen. And what better place than in commercial real estate?
Well, you know, the thing about commercial real estate and marketing, this is not news to you because you've leveraged this, and that's why we're here today, is everybody does the exact same thing and it's lame. It's really boring. And you hit the scene with this content series, cold calling and asking the best advice that they could give for commercial real estate. What is the best advice you've gotten from a broker so far?
The best advice that I got was from the CEO and president and founder of Elephant, Matthew Laborde. I called him to make a video, and what he said to me was that he experienced incredible social anxiety early on in his career, and he did everything that he could possibly do to face that and not be afraid anymore. And that at the end of the day, we're all just people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that really in the beginning was what unlocked this whole thing for me. It's really allowed me to create very genuine connections, even if it's packaged as a gimmick.
It's not a gimmick. I always say everybody thinks it's cringe until you're crushing it. Then they think it's cool. That's what gimmicks are, right? What do you think the next 12 to 24 months looks like for marketing in our industry?
What I think the next 12 to 24 months looks like is people who have been early adopters of content that is entertaining, content that is vulnerable, content that is fearless, which means a lot of things. But the people who are doing that now and who are doing that with rapidity and like high frequency, those people in 12 to 24 months, they're gonna crush it. And it's a trend that has been in the mix for the last 12 months, the last 24 months. You know, we're seeing it, we're already seeing it. And I feel when I look at some of the content that we're talking about, like whether it's boring or the content that doesn't hit, the content that does not hit is just like the plainest way to say it. That's what I mean when I see a lot of fear. That's what I mean when I say I see a lot of restraint. And people are so hungry for unbridled, unhinged, delightful, positive content because look at everything else that's happening in the world. And
that's a good point.
I mentioned that I wanted to talk about this. There's a conversation that I see happen a lot, especially on LinkedIn, where, it's kind of business chat / personal chat, but sometimes people experience sort of dissonance with their like, I just posted a random picture of my cat and it got 1 million views or whatever. Must be a really cool cat for 1 million views. And then they're like, but then when I posted my niche value add educational post, I got crickets. And then they say things like, oh, it's like doesn't perform as well. And I don't want to dismiss that, because that is a real frustration that I also have. But I think that the trend, or like the direction that I hope that we're going, is that people start to understand that general, universal, non-niche, entertaining content has incredible value in a way that I feel like is historical and proven, but we don't understand. So what I taught when I was a college professor was popular culture and entertainment. I taught about video games, video game streaming, like Dr.
Wow.
Disrespect, like Twitch, like all this stuff, like if you know what I'm talking about there. And I taught about reality television. My favorite project that I gave was, a group project where they had to come up with their own reality television show. And man, like Gen Z, like they should have been there at the beginning of reality TV, right? But through all of history, entertainment has been the major piece of culture, and it has been sponsored by the people who are driving the most successful businesses. Like at the dawn of television, Remington Rand produced What's My Line, like one of the original game shows. And like my husband shaved with a Remington, razor this morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it has a lot of value. It's at the top of the funnel. And so I think that I want people to give themselves permission, because I'm actually a really serious person, but I value laughter more than anything else in the world, because laughter, I feel like, is universal language and is recognition of another person as a human. And so I really want the next 12 to 24 months in social media in this industry to be people relaxing into themselves and creating connections that are not about real estate. Because when I started in this industry and I was observing calls and I was like, shadowing agents, 75% of the conversations they were having had nothing to do with deals. Nothing to do with deals. So I feel like maybe that's how I built my whole model. Maybe 75% of the content that we put out should have nothing to do with deals. Maybe. I don't know. It's working so far.
It's so interesting. I think there's so much value to creating what you're saying, authentic, good, valuable, funny, unique content that is outside of the confines of the industry, because that is what is success.
I actually have some questions for you.
Let's go.
Okay. So I have devised 3 questions.
Oh my gosh.
Of a CRE Would You Rather.
Amazing. Let's do it.
Okay, first question. Would you rather spill coffee on Bob Knackle's most expensive suit, or a table on which the map lies in the Knackle map room?
Well, you get arrested for the second one. No, I'm just kidding. The first one. I would rather spill coffee on Bob Knackle's most expensive shirt, because then we would laugh, because Bob is cool as a cucumber, and then I would make him make a content piece with me. But I mean, spilling on the map, that would just hurt my heart. So I'm going for the shirt. BK.
Okay, next question. Would you rather only be able to post AI generated content, or only be able to send print materials out?
Holy smokes. Only be able to post AI content.
That is not the answer I was expecting. Why, can you unpack that a little bit more? Why?
There's just so much more reach for free online. Like, there's a huge place for mailers, and I think that's more of a localized thing. But the reach that we can achieve online, even though AI content is boring, in my opinion, is more valuable.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, AI is happening so fast. Who knows what it's going to look like in 12 to 24 months? So that's a good call. All right. Okay. Final question.
Yes.
Would you rather start your TikTok over from scratch, or delete all the data in your CRM?
Oh, God. I think I'd rather saw my tongue off with a rusty scissors. I would rather start my TikTok over from day one because that CRM is my bread, butter, and everything in between.
I think that's smart. I think that it would be an interesting experiment to start all over from scratch. But because you would still have all of the knowledge that you have and all of the production ability that you have. But like going back to find that data.
Yeah, that's good. Those are good.
Thanks. I worked on it all day.
Oh my gosh. I think there's something big. I mean, clearly you know this. There's something significant to series on when it comes to content. And so maybe that's your next series. Fly, what makes you happy with what you do every day in commercial real estate?
First of all, I prepared for this question. There's this word called Sonder, Sonder, which is the awareness that every other person around you has a life that is as intensely rich and painful and joyous as the life that you have. And when I engage someone in something like what I just did, I recognize that, I can see that, and I can sort of take us back to a moment like when we were all, this is kind of woo-woo, but I can imagine all of us as kids, you know what I mean? And like when it used to be so easy to just go up to somebody that you didn't know because you didn't have any shame and just like, hey, do you want to play with me? Like, I see this in my 4-year-old all the time. Random, like she's best friends with everybody in Baton Rouge. Like, hey, do you want to play with me? Like, yeah, yes, I do. Let's go. What are we going to play? I don't know. We'll figure it out. And so the thing that is making me the happiest right now in this community, had such a huge part in making is the genuine connection that people can have when they're in a situation that is playful and spontaneous, and it's just so lovely. So that's what's giving me a lot of life, and it's what's saving my life. So
it's very interesting. Like you said, it's like a very, very serious industry, but if you boil it down, maybe we could all just chill out a little bit and have a little fun. And we do sometimes, but I think there's a lot to that and a big lesson to learn there. So thank you.